Rovers flattered to deceive last night as they lost to Sunderland at Ewood Park. Is there any hope for the Rovers in the blue and white? We're going to take a little look next. The match review, of course, looking back on yesterday's match against Sunderland, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button, bang it, all things Rovers related, championship related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one Rooski. That's right, Rovers look good for the early parts of the game. But guess what? The game is 90 minutes, not 30 minutes. And of course, Sunderland with Tony Mowbray coming out on top. 3-1 win in the end as Rovers could not make it back-to-back wins. Difficult agenda lies ahead for Rovers. We'll talk about that shortly. But of course, if you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe. Big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons, you know who you are. But yes, I have slept on it. 3-1 win it was for Sunderland. And of course, what can we say about the game in the Rovers? We looked good. We looked exciting. And yes, we probably should have been 3-0 up before 20 minutes. We were all over them like a bloody old rash. But like I said, it's not a 20-minute game. It's a 90-minute game. And Sunderland had probably the best. Well, they probably do have the best player in the division right now. Jack Clarke is showing what he's all about. He's current top goal scorer in the championship. And he got 2 yesterday. One from the penalty spot. So open up the scoring. Yeah, it was probably a little shitty way to shitty penalty. It was a legit penalty. But Jack Clarke slotting it home to give them an undeserved lead. At that point, it was undeserved. Then we responded. Young man on deck, Harry Leonard, getting his second goal of the season, 35 minutes. And yes, I did put a tweet out there saying we have found our striker, because I do believe we have. I think he will score just as many, if not more, than Sam Gallagher will this season. And I do think he probably could be our highest goal scorer this, I won't say goal scorer, but at least our highest goal scoring forward this season. I think he will be up there. I'm not saying big money, big numbers here. I'm talking about 10, 12 goals this season. I think he can get that this campaign. He's got 2, and they're both different goals so far. And yesterday was no different. Of course, and then it was Jack Clarke ripping up later on. Dan Neil with a 45-minute strike to, of course, smash our hearts. We, again, in control, heading towards the break. They took a little loose ball and made us pay, and of course went into the halftime break with their tails up. Tony Mowbray getting the hobnobs out. He was all about it. And of course, at that point, JDT had to rip up his notes and start again. And again, we came out the blocks looking for an equaliser. And again, we pressed and we tried to get it. But as it's been said on social media, the energy levels of Rovers kind of collapsed around about the 60-minute mark. Changes were made, but I thought those changes were not that great. We lost the sort of creativity of Adam Wharton. Hedges had to be removed. Leonard as well ran into the ground. Travis as well removed with a yellow card. So in the end, Jack Clarke wrapped it up 78 minutes to put the game to bed. And towards the end, there could have been more for them as well. So I do feel a little bit hard done by. I thought we created enough and should have put the chances away. But and again, the scoreline does flatter Sunderland. I'm not changing my stance on that for my interaction. It does flatter Sunderland. Maybe a 1-goal margin, perhaps, going in their favour. I think that the bottom line here is that they put their chances away. They had 13 shots, 5 of them off target. That means 8 on target. They put 3 of them in the back of the net. Rovers had 22 shots, 9 of them off target. A good considerable amount on target. But guess what? Keeper was phenomenal between the sticks, of course. 4 good saves. Rovers just the one save. Maybe, just maybe, it's time to change the goalkeepers, or at least give Walstad a game. There's a 2-game week coming up with Ipswich and then bloody Cardiff in the Cup. So good opportunities needed for Rovers to mix it up a little bit. So we'll see how we get on with that. Let me just scooch that over here a little bit. How about that? There you go. Let's kick it on forward. Let's take a little look at the starting lineups with Rovers first. All pairs between the sticks. We had Hyam, Carter, Pickering, and Britton. Then we had Travis, Wharton, Hedges, Moran, Smodic, and Leonard up top. Doing bits as well. Next up, of course, the subs. We did see the likes of Costello coming on, Garrett to little or no effect. Mark and Day had a couple of little moments out wide. Tyrese Dolan and Samir Telovic had about 5 minutes. Not really much to get excited about. Next, of course, the Sunderland there lineup with Patterson between the sticks. Top goalkeeper he is right now. Ballard looked like a rock at the back. O'Neill, Huggins, Hume, Dan Neil with a goal. Abdullah Bar was a handful. Clark, of course, big time player. Joby Belling was all right. Nothing special there. Pritchard pulling the strings, and Burstow, young gun up top, just like us. Of course, they did introduce some subs. They brought Anucci on. They brought Patrick Roberts on, but that was pretty much it. Mowbray getting one over the old guard there, of course, Blackburn Rovers. Let's take a look then, shall we? Of course, how they all matched out in the game. Star man for Rovers was probably Callum Britton, 7.5 rating. Harry Lane not too shabby with a 7.3, but the man of the minute was Jack Clark, 9.5 rating there. Pritchard with a 7.9. Patson, I thought, was a good goalkeeper, solid goalkeeper at the back. Pears has some work to do. Of course, down here, of course, you can see where the events took place. Quickfire goals there. Of course, sucker punch blow at half-time. A lot of yellows for Rovers as we try to scrap her through and get a result out of it. Let's take a look at the star men then. Of course, Clack was running the show. 2 goals as well. Pritchard with an assist. In fact, the first 4 best players, according to SofaScore, were all Sunderland. Then, of course, Callum Britton, of course, broke up the deadlock there. And then, of course, a whole trickle of Rovers, Moran, Leonard and Hyam getting above a 7.1 for the day. The assist for matey boy was Callum Britton. So, again, great effort from him from right back. Let's take a look at the shots then. The shot grid coming at you. Rovers are represented by the orange. And as you can see, Leonard with 5 efforts. Moran with 3. Smarches 3. I think that's going to do themselves no harm. Dolan coming on, 0 shots. Markanday coming on, had 2 shots, of course. So we've got to kind of look into that and make sure we use these numbers to our benefit. Of course, the only player that started the match that didn't have a shot was Adam Morton, but he was creative and he was involved in a lot of the play. Of course, look at the other stats then. 765 touches for Rovers, 556 passes. With, of course, Sunderland 651 touches, 417 passes as well. So take a look at the heat maps then coming at you. Rovers are represented by the top graphic, Sunderland down the bottom. Again, pretty much all the blades of grass covered by Rovers in this one. And then, of course, Sunderland also quite thorough. And, of course, when in possession, preferring this top third here. This top third, of course, the attacking area. And, of course, trying to make it all count for them in the end. Let's take a look at what's been said on social media then, shall we? We're going to start with Ryan Hildred, of course. Tough one to take as the first 15 minutes were one of the most brilliant I've seen from us. But theme of the season haunts us again, being clinical. We knew Sunderland would hurt us, so we had to take the chances when they came. Subs killed any chance of fight back second half. Meanwhile, Matthew Hindle said, Plymouth and Sunderland, both times we've been the better side. Both times we've conceded 3 and lost. JDT got the subs wrong way round. Should have brought on Televic on when he brought Dolan on. Sometimes it's just one of those days, but we have to start taking these chances. Emma, what a frustrating night. Some unreal football followed by some absolutely horrible football. Bad mood. Meanwhile, Scott Cameron, poor in the final third. Shocker. All very well, playing nice football. Not so great when nobody can finish and we defend like clowns. Paul Latham said 20 minutes on top, the rest average. Easy to score against. Never seen heads drop as much when another team scores. Poor. Stuart, a.k.a. Ewood Blue, said should have been 3 up by the first 20 minutes, didn't take the chances and gets football for you. And now on to Ipswich, which has been a bogey ground in the past for us. Colin Fagan, Sunderland with 12 men on the pitch tonight. Stevie Wonder could have even seen that, but it would have been poor argument to make to say that was the only reason we lost tonight. This team is weak in dedication, direction and discipline, and that's all down to JDT. Shock, that's his comments, not mine. Carl Wick said we looked tired from the 60th minute. Wharton coming off for Garrett shows you we should have kept Buckley. Same old story. Didn't take your chances. Sunderland took theirs. I wish we would shoot more. Painful to watch sometimes. Shoot more. We had 22 shots. It's convert more, mate. Convert more. Wandering Rover said could have easily been our night if we'd taken our 3 or 4 chances we had in the first 20 minutes. Tommy, BRH, 1875. Better team for the majority of the game, but I couldn't build any real momentum. Think JDT got the subs tactics wrong in second. Unfortunately, don't deserve to win based on all them missed chances. Playing consistently good football, but the only thing that matters is scoring goals. That's right, of course. What about JDT? Well, here is his thoughts and wisdom about, of course, the result. Go at it, JD. Show them what it's all about.
Well, Jon, what did you make of your team's performance tonight?
No, obviously we are very disappointed with the result, and you look at those chances we created. We should at least score 3 or 4 goals in the first half, and also the way we created it and the amount of the big chances. We should have been out of sight in that way. We saw some excellent football, I think we gave 3 unnecessary goals away. Of course, sometimes when you chase the game in the second half, it was a little bit more open. But we conceded a penalty, of course, and I think it was the first time they were actually in our 16, in our box. Then we cornered just before halftime. Second half, I think we started well, dominated again, created chances again. So when you look at those amount of moments, it's a bit crazy that we actually didn't get a result today.
Do you think in the first half, those chances in particular, Sunderland's defending, throwing their bodies on the line, got in the way of so many opportunities that looked like that they might go in? Have you got to credit them as well for that?
Yeah, but of course you always credit your opponent, but I think if you look at the moments and how big the chances are, I think we should be clinical. So that's the only thing I can complain about, because first you need to create chances, then you need to create a type of chances, and those chances we created was extremely big, actually.
As a coach, it must be so frustrating because you're doing a lot of the things right, aren't you?
No, but I think the players played an excellent game. It was entertainment. I hate the result. I hate losing. But it was entertainment football, clear identity, and the way we created chances, we just need to be more clinical. Of course, we can't give goals away like we did those moments.
Was that the difference, the sort of cutting edge that Sunderland had in the final third to take their chances?
Yeah, they took the few chances they had, but before they actually got in our box, I think we'd be out of sight actually. After 13 minutes, we should have been out of sight in the first half. So all the credit, of course, to Lad for creating those chances, but we need to be more clinical and don't concede unnecessary stupid goals, which you can avoid.
It's the big question. How do you become more clinical, Jon?
That's a good question, Andy. That's a good question. And a very difficult question as well. I don't have a good answer for that.
Is it just a quality of player, perhaps?
No, we should never complain about players, because our players are very, very young and they want to improve. They want to do the best, and they're doing the best every day. And of course, on this level, it's a young team, and then sometimes inexperienced in those situations. And we don't have, of course, a proven goal scorer. We all know that. So nothing new in that. We should never complain about a player. When you can create that amount of chances at this level, then the team have done a lot of things right. Of course, we need to be more clinical.
Yeah, and you go to Ipswich having to do the same thing again, Jon. If you get the same performance level, would you be quite happy with that?
No, but we know, of course, first of all, we need to try to win games. I always have the mindset I want to win games. And then we need to develop players as well.
You had a few yellow cards tonight. Did that influence your substitutions?
Yeah, of course, when you have a couple of yellows, then you need to think about it could also be a red card. And there's also coming some games here on Saturday, and then the next week against Cardiff as well. So there come plenty of games, so that's also one of the reasons, yeah.
Meanwhile, across the Championship, let's take a little look at the other results. Preston, of course, continued their table-topping forms. 2-1 win over Birmingham. Cardiff, 3-2 win over Coventry. Wow, I didn't even see that. Must have been a late goal. I think it was 2-2 when I switched off. So well done, Cardiff. QPR 1-1 draw against Swansea there, of course. Southampton lost at home to Ipswich. The pressure is mounting. Plymouth Argyle losing away to Bristol City 4-1 the Wednesday. Pick up a draw against Middlesbrough, who still remain without a win. Millwall with a big 3-0 win over Rotherham on Wednesday, Watford 2, West Brom 2 in the Valorant Ishmael derby there. Hull City 0, Leeds United 0, Huddersfield 2, Stoke 2 in the final game for Wardock in charge, and Norwich City losing at home to Leicester as well. The table looks like this: Sunderland up to 4th with that victory, Rovers down to 12th, but a win away from going up as high as 4th if we can pick up a result against Ipswich and everything else goes our way. And speaking of our next match, of course, this is what's coming at you this weekend. Birmingham against QPR, that's tomorrow, that's a Friday night. Then Leeds, Watford, West Brom with Millwall, Leicester City against Bristol City, Swansea against Sheffield Wednesday. We have Rotherham against Preston, Middlesbrough take on Southampton, Plymouth take on Norwich, Stoke take on Hull City, Coventry City take on Huddersfield, and Coventry host Cardiff. Wow, wow, wee, wow. And of course, Rovers go to Ipswich. That's right. And I will be back behind the microphone for the watch along for that. So thanks for Pete for standing in for the past couple of games. Do appreciate that. And we may or may not see him for the Cardiff game in the Carabao Cup the next week if it's on TV or what have you. But anyway, we'll take this on the chin. Of course, lessons to be learned. We were never going to win them all, but I was hoping we could have won that one, and it would have given us a little bit of extra life and extra impetus for the game against Ipswich. However, of course, let's go into Ipswich. I know everyone's talking about them, everyone's blowing smoke up their arse, but I think we can surprise a few, like we did Watford at their place. So let's see if we can just get the positive mindset and get a result. But kudos to Mowbray, well done to you, and of course, hopefully you have a good season and eventually do the business one way or another. But I do hope we finish above you in the league. That's why I'm going to leave it. Hopefully we finish above you. I'll see you soon, of course, when we come back around to the Stadium of Light and get our sweet, sweet revenge.